Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is Theoni with Thrifty Divas. I am here with something kind of different from what I usually do today, and a few people have asked me if I would do a video on what's happening with Coppa and YouTube. So I said, sure, I could do a Cliff Notes version. This is just a very short video to just kind of sum up a little bit of what the whole Coppa thing is that's going on for content creators, and all the basically the fear that has kind of stemmed out of nowhere, it appears. So I'm going to do my best to just simplify it for you as much as possible. It may be stuff you already know, it may be stuff you don't. So I'm going to keep it simple, and let me just say and repeatedly say and stress that this is not intended as legal advice in any way. This is just an educational video of some data gathering that I've done for myself to be able to kind of surmise and bring to you guys, any content creators who are interested in this. So for those of you who don't know, COPPA stands for the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. What COPPA was aiming for, in part, as you know, it was a lot of things involved in that, but largely in part what COPPA aimed for was it prohibits data collection and tracking on children under the age of 13 to protect their privacy rights online. So when does that mostly come into play where you can understand it? So we're talking data collection in the forms of cookies or tracking data. Also, hugely, and this is what we're talking about for us mostly, is any type of the data collected for targeted advertising. Okay? So if you don't know, targeted advertising kind of tracks an individual's interests, where they go, what they do on their online life, to target ads shown to them to be tailored to their personal interests. This is also why you may always joke around that, you talk about something with your friend and then an ad shows up on your Facebook page for what you were just talking about. We won't get into that if we're being listened to or anything like that. But it does track your internet searches, your online shopping searches, the content that you watch online and on YouTube, and the things you click on Facebook, and all of that type of tracking to be able to bring you targeted advertising, to tailor the advertising to things that you like. So this happens all around us all the time. But what COPPA says is that it is completely illegal to track any of this type of information on children under the age of 13. So where this kind of all came to a head, and you can further research this, okay? So on September 4th, 2019, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, did a huge press conference. And if you want information from them themselves, from the horse's mouth, on what they're doing and what they plan to do in the future, mostly towards YouTube creators, I would highly suggest you try to find it. I haven't tried to find it. I've just seen clips of it randomly, but I'm sure it's pretty easy to find. So you just look for this press conference by the FTC on September 4th, 2019. And they were saying exactly what they're going to do and what the deal is and all of that. So on September 4th, 2019, what triggered this press conference was that YouTube was involved in a huge lawsuit, basically for COPPA violations. So the claims in there were that YouTube knew that they had content on their platform that was geared towards children. So, geared to child audiences, and they were still tracking data for targeted advertising on those videos. So that is a COPPA violation because you are then data collecting on children 13 years or over, under, I'm sorry, essentially. So YouTube settled for $170 million, is what they paid on that lawsuit. So that settlement was announced on September 4th, 2019, triggering this FTC press conference where they got into all these details. So now what the FTC is going to do is they figure they got YouTube, and now they're going to go on the more intricate scale and go after the content creators themselves. The exact words of one of the FTC officials during this press conference was that it's like shooting fish in a barrel. The content creators are the fish and YouTube is the barrel. So they will be conducting sweeps. They are going in and screening content creators' channels and videos and trying to see if the content is geared towards children, right? And you, as a creator, will be asked to certify if your content is for children under the age of 13 or not, okay? And your answer there has an effect as well. So if you answer yes to that question when you certify your content, if you answer yes, it is intended for an audience 13 years or younger, those videos will be demonetized. So this is, a big hit for monetized channels. So for these channels, targeted ads raise your CPMs on your analytics, giving you more ad revenue for those clicks on those ads, right? Because targeted ads bring in the most money. So if you click yes, that it is for 13 and under, it is estimated by many who have done the math that those channels stand to lose about 85% of their monetization because of the effect on the CPMs, and also on the loss of those ads, entirely. So that's the projection there. Also, if you click no, it is not intended for children under 13 when you certify your content, and the FTC finds that it is, and that, you knew, and you click no, and you are then in violation of Coppa. By being in violation of Coppa, and the FTC said this out of their own mouth during that press conference as well, you stand to be fined up to $42,000 per violation of that Coppa standard. Okay? Every time there was a video that you said no to, or if you generally click no for your entire channel and then repeatedly posted content that they find is in fact intended for children under 13, you are in violation for every single one of those effects. If you want to look further into this and what they will be using as factors on the FTC website and many places online. So if you just like doing research, or if you like doing legal research and you enjoy reading statutes, you can find these Coppa factors under 16 CFR section 312.2 is where you're going to find all these Coppa factors. So now let's go through exactly what factors the FTC is going to use when they do their giant sweeps starting January 2020. This is when you are required to certify your content, and this is when the FTC will begin doing their sweeps to analyze the content from YouTube content creators of whether it is intended for an audience of under 13. So here are some of the factors that they will be looking at. They will be looking at the subject matter, the visual content, the use of animated characters or child oriented activities and incentives, music or other audio content, the age of models, the presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children, language or other characteristics of the website or online service, whether advertising, promoting, or appearing on the website or online service is directed to children. And finally, the Commission will also consider competent and reliable empirical evidence regarding audience composition and evidence regarding the intended audience. So keep in mind, factors in a legal perspective are weighed. They look at the totality of the circumstances, and the factors are weighed of whether it is child geared or not. And they will balance those factors and make their own determination. But this is their list of what they're helping guide them to this. So the FTC themselves is calling it sweeps. We will be conducting sweeps is the direct quote of this content, using these factors and making determinations if this is intended for a child audience or not, and also whether the content creator certified that it is or not, because that's kind of where the big difference is for us, right? $42,000 per violation, or up to $42,000 per violation. So other than that, if you are a child content creator and you click yes, in all honesty, you do stand to lose up to 85% of your monetization if you are a monetized channel. What else did I want to say? So a lot of gaming channels are having an issue with this, or they will most likely, also depending on the games that they show. There's also been rumors of possible, I know there's a lot of dollhouse miniatures or miniature type channels, things like that. So there's a broad spectrum of things that could be found to be child intended. And so so that is my Cliff's Notes version of Coppa. There's a lot of information on the FTC website, and again, if you want to look at those factors and everything that's being said about child intended audiences and those factors for the sweeps and violations and all of that, again, it is 16 CFR section 312.2. So this was your little educational video for the day, and now I need to get dressed and be on my way. So thank you so much for watching. I love each and every one of you. Until the next video, stay blessed, my friends.